Hey guys, TrisTV here, and today I'm going to be ranking the Arsenal squad from the 2019 to 20 Premier League season. Because we're nearly halfway through it, I thought it'd be a good idea to rank the squad based on the performances, because the Premier League now being suspended, and I feel I've had enough games to see how these players have performed. So starting off with Socrates, he's been quite a good player at times in our back line, I reckon, but I'd say he's not that consistent, so I'd pop him up as average. Mesut Ozil, well, he has been getting the games, but he's kind of been not being subbed off, throwing the strop, being the Mesut Ozil he is. And even though we signed him back in 2013, now he just doesn't seem like he wants to be at the club, and for all the wages we're paying him, I don't think he is worth all those wages, so I would put him in the sell category. I'm not going to do Nacho Monreal because he doesn't play for the club, so now I'm going to move on to David Luiz, aka Mr. Sideshow Bob. Like Socrates, he is consistent at times, but he is prone to be making mistakes, and he is aging, and I feel with Saliba coming back that he might take over his spot in the starting 11, or we might sign another player. So he's been quite underwhelming, so I'd sell David Luiz. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He's been very class since he's joined the club. He's saved us a bit this season with his last minute goals and his late goals. I won't talk about the miss that he missed, the sitter he missed against Burnley, but Aubameyang, I'd say he's been up in excellent, up in the top scorers chance. I hope Arsenal can do their best to keep him. Sorry about that noise there. Bernd Leno, same as Aubameyang, I'd put him in excellent, because he's carried us nearly all of the time this season. If it wasn't for Bernd Leno, then we'd be like finishing relegation zone. So if it wasn't for Bernd Leno, we'd be conceding much more goals than we do with our defence. Mustafi, he's come into Mikel Arteta's setup, done. Some fans are saying he's transformed, some fans are saying he's a better defender, but personally, in my opinion, I'd sell him and trade him for a better defender, because he makes quite a lot of mistakes, and it does cost us in the vital and the big games, such as the Manchester Uniteds and the Man City, so I'd sell him. Henrik Mkhitaryan, he's been out on loan, so I can't really say much from him, so I just, personally, from what I've seen of him, I'd put him in requires improvement. Even though he has got class about him, the consistency's not quite there, so I'd put him in requires improvement. Alexandre Lacazette, well, I would say that the man is capable of scoring lots and lots of goals, but it's just the consistency that lets him down a little bit. But he's an excellent player, but I'm only rating on how they've performed this season, and Lacazette, I'm going to put him in the requires improvement. I know some Arsenal fans may disagree with me, but he hasn't got a big running in the team, and when he's played, he hasn't been that threat or that the Lacazette and Aubameyang partnership hasn't been like it was last season. Granit Xhaka. Well, Granit Xhaka's had a bit of ups and downs since he's been at the club. He's been back in that red card of October against Crystal Palace, booing against his old fans and being stripped of the captaincy wasn't good, and he was being linked with a move away from the club. But now I have seen a bit of a resurgence, but still I'd put him in the like just require the I put him in the average. He hasn't been excellent, and he doesn't require much improvement, but from this season I feel he's performed average. Emi Martinez, the goalkeeper, he's done quite well in Europa League games. Haven't seen him play too much in the Premier League, but he's been a loyal servant to the club, been here since 2012. But if Arsenal, but he is aging and he's not getting a big run in the team, so personally I'd put him in the sell category, because Arsenal can get a really good backup goalkeeper, like similar to Ospina's style, to cover if Leno was to get injured. Hector Bellerin. Well, Bellerin, he's been injured most of the time this season, so I haven't seen too much of him play that much, but when he has played, he's stepped up, and that goal he scored against Chelsea, was a very, very good goal to get it past Kepa. But it's just the injuries are kind of letting him down a bit. But so from what I've seen of him, I'd put him with Xhaka and Socrates in the average section. Callum Chambers. It's unfortunate that Callum suffered that injury back on the last day of last year in December. So he's been out. But when I've seen him play in the matches, he's been quite a good centre back. He's quite demanding. He's a good physical presence at the back and a good rotation player for Arsenal. So to be honest, I'd put him in the excellent category, because he's a really good commanding player. Where if our centre backs were to get injured, he'd be good cover and maybe start over them. Sead Kolasinac. Well, when we brought him from Schalke, we expected quite big things from him. He was a free transfer, but with him, like the injuries and the inconsistency, we haven't seen too much of him over and with Saka taking his spot, I don't really see with Tierney and Saka, I do feel it's hard for him to get in the team, and I feel selling him will be the best thing so he can get game time elsewhere. Dani Ceballos. Well, Dani Ceballos, in my opinion, I think is the perfect midfielder for Arsenal. I know some Arsenal fans miss Cazorla, but this guy is a really, really talented young 23-year-old midfielder, and has got bags and bags of potential. So I hope that the Arsenal board make his transfer from his loan deal from Real Madrid permanent. So with him, I'd say, even though he's made glimpses of class, I'd say he has potential if he stays at the club. Lucas Torreira, another great box-to-box midfielder, knows that fantastic goal he scored against Tottenham in the Emirates. It's a shame he picked up an injury this season against Portsmouth in the FA Cup, but I feel he's got bags and I think he's got potential, and I think he should extend his contract, so I'd put him in the has potential column. Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Well, not a natural right back. When Unai Emery was here earlier in the season, he was playing Ainsley in the right back role, but he did say in an interview on YouTube that he likes to play as a natural midfielder, but he has been in a bit of a bust up with the manager and his attitude and being late for training. So with that, I'd say if he wants to get a good run out in the team behind our midfield, I'd put him in this requires improvement table. Nicola Pepe. Big things were expected of this player when he signed earlier in the season for 76 million, because last year in the French league he was banging in all of the goals and he looked like the perfect player for Arsenal, but ever since he's come he's found it a bit hard to hit the ground running, and he's not quite got the service that he wanted, but from what I've seen of him, I'd put him in the requires improvement section. Kieran Tierney. It is a big shame that he suffered that shoulder injury during the West Ham game, but with him, I feel, even though Saka's playing well at left back, when he comes back from injury, I feel he may be able to take that spot and there'll be big competition for him and Saka, so I'd put him in the has potential column. Rob Holding. Well, I haven't seen too much from Rob Holding this season, so it's quite difficult to judge a bit. So, but I do like him as a player, but I haven't seen so much of him. But I'm just going to put him in the average column. Reece Nelson, really pacey winger. I feel he's a very good. He did very well on his loan spell at Hoffenheim. Lots and lots of pace. I feel he'd be really good for the future of Arsenal. He's like the future of Arsenal's academy, and Arsenal should do their best to not let go of this wonder kid. So I'm going to put him in the has potential section. Matteo Guendouzi. Well, with Matteo Guendouzi, I've seen glimpses of him this season. He has been good in the middle of the park with his command in the middle and the way he moves the ball in that midfield, but he's recently been involved in a bust up with Mikel Arteta, and he's just not been in the team as well. So, but he has been a great player, but he hasn't. But I still feel if he gets his head well and if he sorts out his situation, I feel he has potential and feel he should stay in our squad. And Joe Willock. Joe Willock's is a very good midfielder in my opinion, but I feel he has got lots of game time, but it's only made as a substitute performance, and if he wants to consolidate that first team spot in the team behind Torreira and Xhaka, then he'll need to work harder. But I feel him as an Arsenal wonder kid, I feel he has potential and feel he could make the grade at Arsenal. He just needs to keep being consistent and keep impressing the boss, and he will get his chance. So I'm going to put him in, has potential. And sorry if I've missed out the other guys such as Saka and Martinelli. I would have put them in the have potential column, and also Eddie and Nketiah as well, the future of Arsenal. And thank you guys for watching my video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.